In today's class, I am going to tell you the story Necklace by Guy De Maupassant, a French writer. The story revolves around the loss of a necklace. Who lost the necklace? The woman who lost the necklace was Matilda. And Matilda belonged to a middle class family. It was known as a family of clerks. As it was a middle class family, naturally the family could not keep her happy from the very beginning of her life. The shabby furniture, the walls, and the world inside her home always made her feel sad. This is what she could not accept. As a result, though she was sent to a convent school, you know what is convent school? Convent schools are schools in which nuns teach, understood? Christian missionaries, especially nuns and fathers, they teach different subjects run by, different Christian organizations, understood? Or churches all over the world. These schools run by the Christian missionaries are called convent schools. And she got the opportunity to read in convent school, and she had a friend from convent school, and her name was Forestia, Madame Forestia, understood? And Madame Forestia belonged to a rich family. And every time, actually, she would not have felt sad because she got the chance to pay a visit to her friend's house, Madame Forestia. Every time she went there, she felt sad because they had property. They had, she belonged to a rich family. And her prosperity, her riches, her lavish lifestyle, her elite father, her elite class were the reasons why she felt sad. And she decided not to pay a visit to her friend's house again. Why? Because if she goes to a place which makes her sad every time she goes, it was better for her to avoid going to those places. Understood? Because she got the chance to see the lavish lifestyle, the rich life of the rich people. Understood? She actually saw the life of the rich people through her friend Forestia. When they were students, when they were reading in convent school. As a woman, as a beautiful woman in her own family, she thought she deserved the happiness of the world. But it was because of her fate. It was through a error of fate that she was born in a family of middle class people, of middle class father, a family of clerks. But somehow or other, as the days rolled by, the family members found it important to marry her off to someone, understood? And who will she get to marry? When she lived with her family, she thought of elite class. She thought of a very husband, a very rich, handsome husband, understood? But it was only a dream. Because however hard she might have tried, but she could not help thinking the family that she belonged to would not permit her, understood, to think of a handsome husband belonging to an elite class, belonging to elite class of the society. Understood? That was the reason she always stayed within her limits. Then there was a time when her father decided to marry her off to a man called Mr. Loisel, a lower division clerk in the office of the Board of Education under the Ministry of Education. After her marriage to Mr. Loisel, Matilda felt sad the same way. Her sadness decided not to disappear from her life. And that was the reason she, however hard her husband tried to make her happy, she would not feel happy. Her husband made futile attempts to see her happy. It was because she looked for happiness through material pleasure, through material matters. She looked for happiness through the things that were material in nature. Understood? She looked for material happiness. She did not look at her husband's heart, a treasure house, a storehouse of the immense happiness. She did not find it important to look at her husband who loved her like she was a queen to him. Understood? She did not understand what is material love and what is pure love, what is heavenly love. And though she was not able to understand the difference between material love and heavenly love, that's why she ended up making the biggest mistake of her life, which she repented all her life. And what was the mistake? The mistake was, one day her husband come from his office with an invitation card and gave it to his wife, Matilda. Matilda saw the invitation card and threw it on the table, saying, "How can I go to a party," understood, to a ball of the minister who invited you? But it was her husband who said only selected few have been given invitation cards for a ball at the house of the minister. Why do you think of turning down this invitation? You can go wearing the dress that we generally wear while we go to the parks or to theaters. You can wear those dresses. She said, it was beyond my imagination to wear those dresses to a ball party of the minister. I can never imagine my husband taking me to a place, to a party in such shabby dress. Then her husband said, okay, fine, no problem. Then he pondered over for a few minutes, pondered over the present situation, financial position of him. And then he understood that he has set aside some money for buying a gun. Understood? Because they go on hunting with, Mr. Loisel go on hunting with his friends. Understood? So the money that he set aside for buying a gun was given to his loving and caring, understood, loving or his adorable wife, Matilda. He said, Matilda, take this money and get ready to go to the party. Then Matilda said, okay, fine. I wanted 400 francs. Actually, it was Matilda who was told, understood, who was told by her husband to tell him exactly how much she needed to buy a dress for the party. Understood? A costume, a dress, understood, for the party. And she assumed that it might be around 400 francs. And her husband managed to give it to her. Because it was because of the fact that her husband saved that amount for buying a gun. Because he loved going on hunting expedition with his friends. Now he decided for his wife, he decided to sacrifice his hobby, his desire to go on hunting with his friends. Instead of buying gun, he decided to give the money to her to buy the dress that she would wear to the party of the minister. Matilda was happy now because she got the dress that she wanted. Understood? But in the family of Mr. Loisel, she was also not happy. Why do you know? Because there was hardly any difference between her house and the house of Mr. Loisel. Even the Mr. Loisel's house, even in Mr. Loisel's house, the chairs, tables were old. Old means broken. Understood? Means damaged chairs and tables. Even the walls, like the ones in her own family, were shabby. It means at that time she thought that, oh my God, for me, sorrows, unhappiness, it seemed to her as if the unhappiness and sorrows decided to stay permanently in her life. They have decided not to disappear from her life. Understood? That was the reason she felt unhappy the whole day. Understood? And it was her husband who loved her more than his life. To him, his wife was like his queen. And to fulfill his wife's desire and special aspirations, he was ready to go the way of honor. Understood? And to see her happy, he already gave his 400 francs he set aside for buying a gun. But she was such a product who would not feel happy. And another reason for her feeling unhappy was after she got the dress, now she decided to wear a necklace. And it was her husband who said, oh my God, if you still have a desire for a necklace, this time I really will find it difficult to buy you a necklace. Why? It was only because money for the necklace, you need a golden necklace, or maybe you need a diamond necklace, or maybe you are in need of a necklace. Whatever money I had left with me, I have already given you. Now I don't have money to buy you a necklace. Then her unhappiness doubled. Now she says, how can you think of me? How can you think of me going to a party like that without a necklace? Understood? How can you think of me taking to a party which is understood in the house of a minister? How can you think of taking me to the ball? It was a ball party. So, this time he felt more sad. Who? Mr. Loisel. Now Mr. Loisel thought of as he was a clerk, so he was good at solving problems. He was a good problem solver. Then he thought for a moment, and then she was advised by her husband to pay a visit to her rich friend. Who was her rich friend? Her rich friend was Forestier, Madame Forestier. She told her to go to the house of Madame Forestier, who might have, understood, kept some, or who may have some
money,
necklace. And if she goes, I think she might get. And then she felt happy now. It seemed as if her happiness began to return. Understood? Now she was feeling happy and she said, okay, fine, yeah, this is what I can do. And then she went to the house of
Madame Forestier.
Madame Forestier. And Madame Forestier did not think twice before giving a box of jewelry, a box of, a necklace or other ornaments. She tried all the ornaments, but to her utter surprise, all the ornaments